Hey, y'all, let's cover exam number 2. So Christy opened a new checking account by depositing $476. She then paid her bills. Electricity is $82, water $35, and internet's $58. Then she received a check from tutoring and deposited $218 into her new account. How much money let's go with the fact that this is Christy we're talking about. Does Christy have in her account now? Okay, the majority of you got this correct. I just want to do it real quick for you so you have that. All right, she started by depositing $476. She then paid her bills. Her bills are going to be subtracted from what she put into the account. So she's subtracting what? 82, 35, and 58. Then she receives a check from tutoring and deposits that into her account. So that's another positive of $218. When you take the 82 plus 35 plus 58, on my calculator real quick for you. Got my glasses. All right, so 82, 35, 58. You have to do what's in the parentheses first. That's 175. 476 minus 175 plus 218. Remember order of operations. Parentheses are first. We do not have any exponents. We do not have any multiplication or division. So then the next thing is going to be addition and subtraction. And you always work addition and subtraction from left to right. All right. That is one of the things that messed a lot of you up on your multiplication and division on some of the problems I'm going to be working here in a minute. So 476 minus 175 is 301. And then 301 plus 218. Yes, I know you could put that straight into the calculator, but as far as it's 519. As far as being able to work the problem, your calculator only does what you tell it to do. So please be very careful. 519. Now, this is a word problem, so therefore your answer should be in sentence format with correct units. There's no rounding in this place. So the question is, how much money does Christy have in her account now? And you would say Christy has, you're going to say 519, but you're going to use the dollar sign because that's your units. Otherwise, we don't know what you're talking about. Christy has $519 in her account now. Okay, and that's the answer for that one. The next question was negative 21 minus 17 minus negative 9. Again, a lot of you used your calculator for this. Just be very careful. The calculator, again, is only going to do what you tell it. First thing I have to do is a multiplication. We've got the negative times a negative. So negative 21 minus 17. Negative times a negative is a positive 9. All right, now we have negative 21 minus 17. When you have two negatives, you have to add the numbers and keep the sign. That's a mistake I keep seeing as well. So negative 21, watch what I'm doing here. Negative 21 minus 17 is negative 38 plus 9 is negative 29. Okay, and that's the answer for that one. The next question, pull it down here. There we go. We've got negative 1 minus negative 4 minus 2 minus negative 5. Oh, got a lot of parentheses happening. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this double sign here. So negative 1 minus a negative is a positive 4. I'm going to leave that negative sign there from C to 2. Minus the negative 5 is the opposite of 5, which is just positive 5. Okay, now we work our parentheses. Negative 1 plus 4 is just 3. You subtract them and take the sign of the larger number. Minus 2 plus 5 is 7. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. of you did really well on the first page. All right, let's go to the Grand Canyon. This one really messed up several of y'all. You need to be able to comprehend what the words are saying. Slow down, breathe, and think through what I'm saying here. We've got Chaley and Eliza went to the Grand Canyon. Chaley chose to ride a donkey down. So if we've got the Grand Canyon, it's just a canyon. Chaley rode her mule down 6,093 feet to the bottom. So from here down is 6,093, and that is feet. Okay. And then Eliza took a hot air balloon. She took a ride 3,136 feet in the air above the rim, directly above Chaley's mule. So if Chaley's mule is down here on the ground floor of the Grand Canyon, her balloon is way up here, directly above. Let's just assume there's a cute little basket with it. Way directly above the mule. All right. And she went 3,136. So from the top of the rim up, she went 3,136 feet. And my question to you is, if Eliza drops her phone, how far did it fall to Chaley's donkey? So if she drops her phone and it falls all the way down to the donkey, how far is that? Well, a lot of you subtracted these when all you needed to do was add them. So 3,136 plus 6,093 is 9,229. It, again, is a word problem, so your answer needs to be in sentence format with correct units. So the question was, how far did it fall? I don't care if you write what you write. You can just say it fell. It fell 9,229 feet. That's all I need. Okay. Let me know what questions you have about that. The next question is, this one got a lot of y'all too. 1 minus 1 times 16 divided by 4 times 5 minus 5. Okay. Left to right, what is going, okay, first of all, there's no parentheses. Awesome. No exponents. There's no exponents, so that's good. Multiplication and division is next for order of operation. And multiplication and division, you always work from left to right. This is subtraction, so I'm not going to do anything with it. Here's multiplication. Negative 1 times 16 is negative 16. I'm bringing everything else down. Left to right, subtraction. Okay, division. We've got negative 16 divided by 4. So the negative 16 divided by 4 is just negative 4. Bring everything else down. We've got multiplication. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. And now we're just left with adding and subtracting. With adding and subtracting, you have to, again, work from left to right. All right. 1 minus 20 is negative 19 minus 5. The signs are the same, so you add them and keep the sign. 19, 21, 22, 23, 24. So negative 24 is our answer for this one. Okay. Be careful. All right. 7 minus negative 21 over 3. Parentheses first. 7 minus, in parentheses, is 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. Negative times negative is a positive. And the answer is 14. Okay. Negative 5, absolute value of negative 5 times 4 minus 11 times negative 7. Inside the absolute value is negative 20. Negative 11 times negative 7 is positive 77. When you take the absolute value of a number, I don't care if it's positive or negative, absolute value always measures the distance from 0. So if you measure any kind of distance, if I were to measure my depth here, it would say 6 foot. you can't have distance with a negative. So the absolute value of any number, whether it's positive or negative, has to be a positive. So 20 plus 77 is 97. And that's the answer for that one. I removed the number 8. It is not a solution. And just to know that, to find out if something is a solution, you plug in 1 for that number, for that variable. So that would be negative plus and equaling to 0. So where the x's are, I'm just going to plug in a 1. And again, I removed this, but it's good for you to know what it is. Negative 1 plus 1 is 2 divided by 0. Well, 2 divided by 0 is not equal to 0. 2 divided by 0, anything divided by 0, anything divided by 0 is undefined. Okay, so no. 1 is not, what's the question? Is not a solution. Okay. And that is the reason why. All right. Some of you just said yes. You always have to explain why. Yes, is not going to be an answer. All right. So x divided by negative 8 is equal to 3. All we need to do is find out, well, who divided by negative 8 is 3? You could think of it that way. Or if you want to think of it algebraically, x is divided by negative 8. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we have to multiply both sides by negative 8 to get rid of it. These reduce. You get x is equal to positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 8 is 24. And that's the answer. All right. 5 less than 6 times an unknown number is 37. So it's 5 less than 6 times an unknown number is 37. And that's the way I see that. Remember, the than flips it to where the 5 has to go on the other side. You subtract it from the 6 times an unknown number. And then we solve for x. Start by getting rid of the 5, the negative 5, adding it to both sides. We get 42 is equal to 6x. Divide both sides by 6, and x is equal to 7. That's it. The quotient of 2 integers is 5. So the quotient of 2 integers is 5. And one of the integers is negative 35. Find the other integer. Well, there's a couple different ways you can do this. We could put negative 35 up here, or we could put negative 35 down here. Either way, you're going to get 2 different answers, which is fine. But then I'll know that you understand what it's referencing. In this case, the way that you learned it was to go ahead and input negative 35 in the exponent, in the numerator, and put the x in the denominator. All right. How is that going to work for us? Well, we need to solve for x. Oh, sorry. So I need to multiply both sides by x just to get x up in my numerator instead of in the denominator. So when I do that, my x's are gone here. I'm left with negative 35 is equal to 5 times x, which is 5x. Finally, just dividing both sides by 5, we get x is equal to negative 7. And that is our answer. Negative 35 divided by negative 7 is 5. All right. The next one. Autumn scored 92, 71, and 79 on her first 3 exams. What must Autumn score on her next exam to average 80 on all 4 exams? Well, 92 is her first exam, 71, 79, those are all of her exams. when you want to find the average, you add up all of the exam scores and divide it by the total number that there are. But we don't know what our last exam score is. That's what we're looking for. But once if we found that out, we could just add those up and divide by 4, and we would get our average, which they're telling us they want to be 80. All right, so now we're going to just solve for x. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add all of my 3 exam scores that we do have. So 92 plus 71 plus 79 is equal to 242. Plus x, and all this is divided by 4, is equal to 80. All right, now I want to get rid of the fraction, get rid of the 4 in the denominator. To do that, I just need to multiply both sides by 4. 4s are gone here. We're left with 242 plus x is equal to 80 times 4 is 320. Solving for x, I just need to subtract 242 from both sides. And we get x is equal to 78. Now, it's a word problem, so I need to make sure and give sentence format. Autumn must score a 78 to receive an average of 80. So Autumn needs to score a 78 to have an average of 80. Now, you don't have to write it exactly as I do. The main thing is to get your point across to let me know that you understand what you're talking about, okay? Next one. Suppose 7x plus 1 represents an even whole number. How can you represent the next 2 even numbers? Well, if we have an even number that is 2, how do I get to the next even whole number? The next even whole number is 4. What's the next one? 6. So how do we get from 2 to 4? We add 2. How do we get from 2 to 6? We add 4. Okay. 2 plus 4 is 6. So if we have 7x plus 1, to get to my, and they're saying that's an even whole number, how do I get to my next even whole number? You add 2. And that's 7x plus 3. How do you get to the next one? You take the original and you add 4. And those were your answers. Okay. Some of you wrote 7x plus 2 and 7x plus 3. I did give you partial credit for that, even though it was not set up properly. 10y, we're going to just simplify, minus 6 minus negative 10 minus 10y. The thing that worries me about this one is that a lot of you added your variable, your terms that were not like. If you've got a variable, the y with 1 and you don't with another one, you can't combine those 2 numbers unless they're multiplied. Adding and subtracting, you cannot do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this negative over this binomial. And I get positive 10 plus 10y. All right. Now I'm just going to combine like terms. I can combine the 10y and the 10y and get 20y. Negative 6 plus 10 is plus 4. And that's your answer. All right. The width of a rectangle, only one person got this. The width of a rectangle is 2 feet shorter than 3 times its length L. So if I draw a picture, don't judge, I'm not an artist. And the width of a rectangle is 2 feet shorter than, it's got the word than, so I have to flip to 2 minus or minus 2. And then whatever comes after that, 3 times its length. So 3L. Find the perimeter of the rectangle in terms of its length alone. Well, if this width is 3L minus 2, then this one's 3L minus 2 as well. And these are both just the length. Okay. To find the perimeter of a rectangle, you just add up all the sides. So perimeter equals side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4, or I'm just going to start here and go all the way around. L plus 3L minus 2 plus L, because it's that one, plus 3L minus 2. Okay. I just wanted to put these in parentheses to show you that we added up 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. You can drop the parentheses at this point and just combine like terms. We have 1L, 3 L's, 1L, and 3 L's. That's 8 L's. And then -2 minus 2 is -467. And that is our answer. All right. Solve the equation. -2. A lot of order for operations for this exam. Need y'all to get comfortable with it. All right, parentheses. We cannot combine anything parentheses wise, but I can distribute this -2 over this binomial. So it's -2. I want to make sure and give you everything for this. -2 times -x plus -2 times 1. A lot of you are not multiplying to both, or you're messing with the signs and it's just getting messed up. This one is 2 times 7x minus 2 times 8. And then minus 2 cubed is 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Notice the parenthesis is not in a parenthesis. I'm sorry, notice the negative sign is not in a parenthesis with the 2. So therefore, the only thing cubed is the 2, not -2. All right. So that's why the negative is stayed, not because it's an odd exponent. Left to right here, let's talk about this. -2 times -x is just 2x. -2 times 1 is -2. 2 times 7 is 14. Don't forget the x. -2 times 8 is -16, and then minus 8. I'm going to simplify this side over here. 2x minus 2 is equal to 14x minus. The signs are the same, so we add them and keep the sign. Many of you are subtracting them. Be very careful. I need my x's on one side and my constants on the other. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And I get 2x is equal to 14x minus 22. Now I'm going to move my x over here, -14x. So I get -12x is equal to -22. Finally, I'm going to isolate x, divide both sides by -12. And we get x is equal to, well, negative divided by negative is a positive, and we get 22 divided by 12. I did not expect you to reduce that or anything else. I just needed to have that as an answer. Some of you answered it as, I think it was 1.83. Let me verify that. 22 divided by 12. Yep, 1.83, which I was fine with in this case as well. Okay, until we get to our next exam, which covers only fractions, and then all of your answers will have to be in fractional form. Okay. All right. The three sides of a triangle are consecutive integers. The first thing you need to know is what a consecutive integer is. So if we let x be a consecutive integer, or say the number 3, what's the next consecutive integer after 3? It's 4. How did we get to that? We added 1. So those are our two integers, but we have 3 sides. So there's got to be 3. X plus 2. So we'll say this one's x plus 1, and this one's x plus 2. If the perimeter of the triangle is 42 inches, they want to know the lengths of the sides. Well, you just add up all your sides and set it equal to 42. Perimeter is equal to sum of all sides. Remember, sum means add. So perimeter is equal to x plus 1 plus x plus 2. I'm only putting these in parentheses so that you can see that I'm representing each one. Now I'm going to substitute P. I'm going to put in 42 to represent P. And I'm going to drop the parentheses and just add like terms. 1, 2, 3 x's plus 1 plus 2 is 3. Isolating x, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. 3x is equal to 39. Dividing both sides by 3, x is equal to 13. Okay, so one of the sides is 13 inches. Make sure it's inches. Yep, inches, yes. So this side would be 13 inches. This side would be 13 plus 1, which is 14 inches. And then the last one here would be 13 plus 2, which is 15 inches. So you would write the sides are 13 inches, and you could write inch, 14 inches, and 15 inches. Many of you wrote that it was an equilateral triangle, even though I didn't say that. And you told me all the sides were 14. That was incorrect. I gave you partial credit, even though it was wrong. Please get comfortable with knowing how to do this. This will be on your final. All right, let's go to the piggy bank. Angel broke his piggy bank. All right, and found $6.25 in nickels and dimes. So if you've just got nickels and dimes, all right, what's the quantity he has? There are 17 more nickels than dimes. So if we have D for dimes, then nickels has 17 more nickels than he does dimes. So it's D plus 17. All right. And then the next thing you need to know is value. Nickels are worth 5 cents. Dimes are worth 10 cents. Total, once we add all this together, needs to add up to $6.25. All right, we can't just add these. What we have to do instead is create one more that we multiply these together. So this would be 0.05 times D plus 17 and 0.10 times D. Those added together is going to give you the $6.25. So let's set that up. 0.05 times D plus 17 plus 10 cents times D is equal to $6.25. Distribute your 5 cents over the binomial. So 0.05D plus 17 times 0.05 is 85 cents. 10 cents times D is 0.10D, 6.25. Combining like term, we've got two D's here. So that's 0.15D plus 0.85 is 6.25. Subtracting 85 cents from both sides, we get 0.15D by 40. And last but not least, divide both sides by 15.15. And we get 36. Now, the fact that we use the letter D lets us know that there are 36 dimes. And all I have to do is go back up here to find out how many nickels there are. D plus 17 nickels. So nickels are equal to 36 plus 17, which is 53. There are 36 dimes and 53 nickels. Okay. Right. Three more. Chelsea just found out that she was the love child of the famous music celebrity and her mom. When her famous dad died, he left Chelsea with $150,000 in inheritance. Chelsea Chelsea invests in two different types of accounts, a savings account and a CD. The savings account pays 2.3% interest. The CD pays 4.7% interest. In this case, we don't need to know that. What we need to know is how much she invested. She invested a total of 150 grand. Okay. So that means that she invested part of it in one and the other part in the other. She decides to invest 72,000 more in the certificate of deposit than she does in the savings. So the savings is just S, and the CD is the amount she put in savings plus 72,000. She put in 72,000 more in her CD. All right. So S plus these two together would add up to 150,000, right? So I don't even need this in a separate place. I can just put it right here, 2, 3. So S plus 72,000 is equal to 150,000. I can drop the parentheses. I was just representing the fact that I was presenting both. S plus S is 2S plus 72,000 is equal to 150,000. Subtract 72,000 from both sides. We get 2S is equal to 78,000. I believe that's correct. Let me verify. Yep. And then solving for S, we just divide both sides by 2. And S is equal to 39,000. So she invested $39,000 in her savings because it's S. So is it Chelsea? Yep. Chelsea invested 39, don't forget your dollar sign, that's your unit, 39,000 in savings. And how much in CD? Don't forget your dollar sign. Well, it's 39,000 plus 72,000. $111,000 in her CD. And that's the answer for that one. One more. These are going to be on your exam. Be very careful. Make sure you're comfortable with these before we get for your final exam. All right, last one here. Tyler and Amanda decided to host a spring festival with fireworks and live music. Tyler wanted to ensure everyone had a good time and wanted a rule that for every 4 children, there must be at least one adult guardian. Okay, so for one adult, there has to be 4 little beast children, 4 children. Amanda wanted to charge $17 for each child. So $17 for each kid and $15 for each adult. I need to write this differently. We've got adults. We've got children. And we've got total. Adults are A. There are going to be 4 times as many children as adults, so 4 times adults. And then we need pricing. $17 for children and $15 for adults. To where we'd have to go 15 times A and 17 times 4A, which is what? 68. Actually, I would do this separately. Let's just do 4A times 17. And then the total is how much they made. 1992. Good year. All right, 15A plus 4A times 17 is equal to 1992. I need to multiply these two before I can combine like terms. And that was 68 is equal to 1992. Add these two. 83A is equal to 1992. Divide both sides by 83. 1992 divided by 83, 24. So they sold 24 adult tickets. They sold 24 adult tickets. Adult tickets is your units. And how many children's tickets? Well, children's, there's 4 times as many as there are adults. So 4 times 24 is what? 96. And 96 children's tickets. All right, that is it for exam 2. Let me know what questions you have. Those are going to be sent back to you. Please go through and let me know if there's anything that you feel is graded incorrectly or if you're questioning. All right. Have a great day. Talk to you all soon.